All right, Luke 6:27 through 36. We're moving from the blessings and the woes into a little bit more of this Sermon on the Mount. So pause and read, and I'll see you in a second. We're going to unpack this thing. Good stuff. Okay, so Jesus just told us, look, you've got to be in this blessed camp. This blessed camp is all about you're poor and you're hungry and you're weeping and you're hated and you're kicked out of a group. You have experienced being rejected, being outside the group. But it's okay because of what Jesus did for you. Now, if that's your attitude, you're ready for 27. Love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Say what? This flies in the face of everything, because enemies back then, it's not individual. We think, oh, my enemy is this guy, my enemy is her. No, enemies to them is group. Think group. Everything's group. So, if you're a Jew, your enemy is the Gentile, the Samaritan, it's the Romans. If you're poor, your enemy is the rich. Your enemy is anyone that's not in your group. Basically, any outsider is your enemy. So he's saying, look, you're an outsider, and God loved you. Do the same. Love your enemies. Do good to them. Bless those who curse you. Pray for those. 29. Okay, so 27 and 28, actions, prayers, outward, inward. Okay, give me some examples, Jesus. What's it look like? 29. If somebody slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other also. What's that mean? It means somebody walking up to you in this culture, there's two things they can do to your cheek. They can slap it or they can kiss it. Jesus is saying if they slap you on your right cheek, turn. What that means is don't keep letting them hit you on the right cheek. So don't roll over. Don't be a passive wuss. Don't punch him back, right? Don't be aggressive. Turn the other cheek and say, okay, you just slapped me. I'm going to give you a chance to kiss me. You shamed me. I'm going to give you a chance to honor me. In other words, I forgive you. Let's start over. That's what turn the other cheek means. I forgive you. Let's start over. If somebody takes your cloak, your jacket, give them your shirt. Give them your tunic. If someone says, hey, I need that. I'm really cold. Can I give it to them? Give it to them. It's a radical love ethic. It's a community ethic. Jesus is creating this community. That's what this is all about. The outsider, the enemy who's on the outside, if they hit you in the face, say, it's okay, let's try again, let's start over. If they ask for your stuff, say, yes, I will give you what's mine. And this is also prophetic because Jesus is saying to these disciples, all of this is going to happen to you. You're going to be slapped in the face when they kick you out of the synagogue. And they did it to Jesus. If you keep going in the story, Jesus is going to get smashed in the face at his crucifixion. His clothes are going to be taken at his crucifixion by his enemies. And so Jesus is not asking us to do anything that he did not literally experience himself. 30, give to everyone who asks. Don't demand it back. 31, do to others as you would have them do to you. The golden rule, but it's the first time. The golden rule in other religions was expressed always in negatives. Don't do to others what you don't want done to you. Jesus comes along and says, okay, I'm going to take it the next level, which is do to others. It's radical. It's crazy. It's out of control. It's almost terrible. It's almost stupid. Jesus' teaching is almost stupid because it's impossible. We can't do this. How are we ever going to do this? 32. You love those who love you, but even the sinners do that, right? Look at how many times he says sinners in 32 through 34-ish, 35-ish. He says, if you love those who love you, what credit is that? Even sinners love those who love them. If you do good to those who do good to you, what credit is that? Even sinners do that. Even these Gentile sinners, you can see him almost pointing at the Gentiles. Even they do that. Hey, Jews, even the sinners do that. And the Jews are like, yeah, you're right, man. I'm glad I'm not a sinner. Right? And 34, and if you lend to those from whom you expect repayment, what credit is that? Even sinners lend to sinners. 35, but love your enemies. Lend to them without expecting anything back. Think about all these sinners around you. Even they are nice to each other. Let's take it a step further. So they're thinking, I'm glad I'm not a sinner. Now watch this. Look at verse 35. 35. But love your enemies. Do good to them. Lend to them without expecting to get anything back. Then your reward will be great, and you will be sons of the Most High, because He is kind to the ungrateful and the wicked. Jesus just said to the Jews sitting there, He just said, don't be like the sinners. Oh, but by the way, you're ungrateful and wicked. What? What are you talking about? And here's where we get the power. How do we do everything God just said, or Jesus just said? How do we love our enemies? A seemingly impossible task. We get the power from the fact that God loved us even when we were sinners. Romans 5:8. Even when we were still sinners, Christ died for us. We will be sons of the Most High. And when we become sons of the Most High, we have the power to love. And then he ends with 36, be merciful just as your Father is merciful. Look, the only way you can achieve this new community, this ethic that Jesus is proposing, is if you accept the mercy of God, God the Father. God loved me so I can love others. If there is no gospel, if there is no Jesus on the cross, then this teaching is stupid, it's impossible, it's terrifying. Jesus isn't a good teacher because he just held us up to a standard that's impossible to keep. To totally love your enemies and always turn the other cheek and always give to people and always lend without ever expecting anything back, that's ridiculous and stupid. Unless you've experienced it from God himself. And if you've experienced radical, crazy, seemingly foolish love from God, suddenly now you have the power to do the same. And let me end with this. This is all about community. What he's unloading on you is all about community. You can't do anything we just read sitting at home alone. You can't do anything we just read if you're not coming out and going to church and being in a group. And when you come to a group, stop being in a little clique. Love your enemies. Your enemies are the outsiders. Bring them in. That's what Jesus did. Get the lepers, get the paralytics, get the tax collectors, and bring them in. And when you do that, you begin to be a part of the kingdom. When you fail to do that, you're still a sinner. You're still just like everybody else. You haven't experienced the crazy, radical, powerful love of God that has made you a son of the Most High and allows you to do this insane stuff that Jesus just said. There's more to come, more insanity to follow. Next video. See you then.